Hello, hello. I am Daddy Luna. I am back. It's been for 1 week out of YouTube and I miss you. I was getting the hang of it. I hope you miss me too. If you want to find me on Instagram, I am at Daddy Luna underscore, or on TikTok, I am Daddy Luna, or here on YouTube at Daddy Luna underscore. So welcome, welcome. Today we have a big topic because it's all about why are limiting beliefs so different? Some of them are just quick to change, and I can't even remember myself when I used to think that way. And why are others that are so hidden that we can't seem to really even notice they're there? And even when we notice, it takes so many years to change them. All of that is what I want to talk about in today's video. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. Okay, so today I brought you a little prop. It's a mold for cupcakes. And why are we going to use it for limiting beliefs? You will find out. It's going to explain a lot of things. I'm so visual and I like to bring visual stuff to explain my points and what we're going to talk about, because that is going to help you make it, or help me make it more memorable. You're going to, every time you see a cupcake mold, you're going to remember, oh, limiting beliefs. Now, the reason why this is such a good example, it's because our subconscious, when it forms, when we are children, sometimes and most of the times, even before we're 2 years old, we are forming our brain, our subconscious and our conscious are getting codified. They're getting coded into some sort of programming, and it creates like a mold that then we keep walking towards life with. And the other day, before I finish this example, the other day I was talking to a friend and she was telling me that when she meets people, she feels really attracted to people that are intelligent and that are really smart and have like good maybe job positions or are doing something really good with their life. But when they are not, she just like doesn't have any stimuli to keep talking to them. And this is really interesting because we think that we have this intellectual cognitive thoughts, and that is what's helping us decide who we want to relate to, where are my goals, where I want to go, and the decisions that we're making. And at a certain level, yes, they are. In this duality of this physical world, yes, they are. That is real. But the truth of the matter is that what's running the show, it's your mold, right? It's the shape from which your subconscious has formed, and you're getting in life, even though you're making all of those outward decisions based on your intellect, you're getting what you need based on this mold, not what you want. Yeah? I'm going to say that again. So you're getting what you need. And what you need, it's usually not what you want. And what do I mean by what I need? When this mold is created, it sets some rules of programming. You know, basic code and programming, it just says like, when this happens, do this. When this comes in, do that. That's what really programming is. And we are like a little computer. We are a big computer. We are the most ingenious computer, right? And so in a way, this mold is setting in stone those codes, and it has a shape that no matter what you pour in, it's going to go by those coding, right? Like if you put in a liquid here and any soft substance that you put here, it's going to mold it according to this shape, no matter what type of substance it is, right? It's going to fit in this container based on the shape of the container. And so when she was telling me, you know, I'm really interested in intelligent people, that sounds really beautiful, except that her container might be saying, I'm afraid of abandonment. Yeah. Or her container might be saying, I'm afraid of rejection. And it's saying, when I feel rejected, or before I even feel rejected, do this and do that. Yeah. And so your brain subconsciously knows better what it needs based on this shape. It's because it wants to form that shape in everything that it receives. And so when she meets somebody, right? Let's say that that somebody is very smart and intelligent and independent, just exactly how her intellect wants it, right? But when that person pours, when there is a connection, right? Because we're social beings, we are connecting to people. It's in our relational intelligence that we get to experiment and evolve within ourselves, right? We don't evolve by ourselves. And so in that relationship and that internal relationship that I have with myself and that I have with other people, this mold is what rules. And so when they pour the liquid into this mold, no matter who they are, no matter what they do, I'm always going to feel abandoned in that particular case, right? I'm always going to feel abandoned. Maybe you give me all the money in the world. Maybe you're there all the time. But I programmed based on my story, my history with my caregivers, that nobody could really take care of me because everyone goes away. And so no matter what you do, that's this shape that my brain will make out of whatever you give me. So whatever you give me, I'm going to convert it into abandonment. Yeah? Can you understand that how powerful that is to really this subject really fascinates me. Yeah? Because we're right here, we are lost in our world thinking that, oh yeah, I like interesting people. I love smart people. I love intelligent people. So I want to actually go marry an intelligent people. And on the other side is the universe with this little mold here in your subconscious thinking, yeah, she thinks she's marrying an intelligent person. You know what I mean? So now the question here is, okay, Daddy, I got it. I can relate to that, right? You're probably thinking, I can relate to that. That's true. Especially you can see it in other people, right? Because when you see somebody that is, for example, struggling with a wound or trauma behavior that's related to lack, for example. Me, that's one of the things that I've worked a lot in my life. Or somebody that is working on betrayal. Yeah. So my mold is betrayal, meaning, I encode it. It could be that I encoded that betrayal is love. It could be that I encoded that betrayal is necessary, or it could be that I am so afraid of betrayal that I wouldn't even get to anything just to avoid betrayal or whatever that is. But if it's around control, it has to do with betrayal, right? For example. And so those beliefs would then manifest as, in the outer world, I love intelligent people. But what's really happening inside of me, it's I won't allow myself to be with an intelligent person. And so every time that could be a possibility, something would happen where I would reject and be away from that. Because the truth is that in order for me to be who I am and reject betrayal before it happens, I am a controller. So I control everything. And the other intelligent people, it's not a person that is going to allow me to control it. And so it's like two magnets that, are on the opposite side and they can't manage to bond. Yeah, you can't manage to bond with that person. There's not enough glue for you and that person to happen. And what's happening? My mold, it's a betrayal. So whatever you are pouring in here, all the calls that you're giving me, the things that you're proposing, the suggestions, the dressing nice, the way I receive them, it's based on my mold. And so I'm creating a whole story of what I get from my subconscious that it's very different of the story that you have, because then you have also another mold that is related to your own childhood limiting beliefs. You might be aware of them or you might not be aware of them. And a lot of the times, and here's what I want to get into it, but a lot of the times what happens is there are limiting beliefs that just being aware of them, it's not enough. I just want to put that out there because it could be very frustrating. Okay. There is a stage in the healing process where you are already super aware of it. You're conscious of what's going on. You can identify, you can self-diagnose yourself, but that does not mean you can change it. And your ego wants to try to convince you of the opposite. It tries to convince you of the opposite also when you see other people, right? When you have that friend that's like calling and telling you the same story over and over again, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, but this person already knows it, already knows that that doesn't work. Like I had a friend the other day telling me, this other friend of ours does the same thing all the time. It knows that it's not nice, a good thing to do, but yet she keeps doing it. What happens with that is that we all do that. We all do that. It takes us years to change our behavior if we're unconscious. And it takes us also years to change our behavior even when we're conscious about it. How many of you haven't feel that situation where you're like maybe in the midst of an argument, or maybe in the midst of the same pattern repeating, and you're just standing there thinking to yourself, I shouldn't be arguing about this. I know I'm not right. This is not the type of person I want to be. This is not how I want to answer. This is not what I planned to do when I was trying to implement other skills. Yet I can't walk away and I can't stop yelling. I'm still yelling. And I'm still yelling as I'm catching myself. I'm still yelling. I'm trying to control, but I can't. My ego still has such a grasp on me that awakening, I'm not ready for it to happen in the midst of what's going on. How many of you have experienced that in the past? I have, for sure. For sure. But that is a good symptom, because what needs to happen for us to change that mold? This is the question that you guys probably thinking this whole time. Okay, yeah, I got it. How can I change it? Okay, so the first step is to bring it to the consciousness. And that's the hardest step, because we don't know what we don't know. We can't see what we can't see. We don't know what we don't know. It's like blissful ignorance, right? We think we're doing the best by not forgiving, by arguing this way, by answering that way, but we are so blind to whatever is in our subconscious. And so sometimes what happens is it is the triggers of life, crisis of life, that takes us to a spot where we finally make the questions that can reveal our limiting beliefs. Do we need to get to that point? No, the answer is not. It's no. However, it's still hard. It could be harder when there's no triggers to figure out what are the limiting beliefs that are leading, right? That have agency over my behaviors, and am I really aligned to them? So that first step is looking at it. Looking at it for sure. It's never going to change or heal. I'm never going to change this mold if I don't look at it, if I'm not aware that it's there. Okay. And so sometimes this happens more after we're 35 and older, or 40 and older. There's tons of exceptions to this rule. It's not a rule actually, but it happens more because we have had many of the same things. Or, for example, we've gotten married with one person and we're still mad at that person, and then we get married to another person, thinking that it's that one intelligent person that I was really attracted to, for example. But in reality, that person is bringing me exactly what my mold needs for me to see this trauma and want to change it. So in the end, my wounds and my trauma are the journey, the driveway towards my evolution. We need them. We all have them, and we need them, right? It's like the second born. That's what people would say. You are reborn, in your 40s or in your 30s, if you want to, or your 50s, 60s, or 70s, whenever you're ready. We all have our own pace, right? We're reborn. That reborn message is about look, the brain that was forming the subconscious of when I got into this dimension is no longer serving me, so I'm going to reshape it again. And if I reshape whatever creates my reality, that means I am reborn. That means this is a whole new life once I reshape what's creating my reality. But first, I have to notice, acknowledge, and understand how it is that it's creating my reality. And that what I seem to feel attracted to, it looks like it's what I like, but in reality, it's going to bring me what I need for my evolution. So, first step, notice it. Second step, and this is a step where we can stay longer periods of time, is there is a need for implementing skills. And implementing is the key word here. Because a lot of times I'm aware of it, I know what I have to do, but I don't do it. Because I'm too stuck in the mold, I'm too afraid. This requires courage. It requires huge amounts of strength to show yourself vulnerable and to go through the transformation. Because we are going to become, there's a lot of uncertainty and not knowing who am I going to be when I change my mold. Because everything that I am, that identifies me as who I am, it's based on this mold. It's based on my beliefs. It's based on the programming that's there from when I was born. And so changing this means letting go of that version of me and reborning into a whole new version that I have no idea how it's going to look like. It's scary. You guys, it's so scary. But there comes a point where it's scarier to keep repeating the patterns of the old mold than to remold your subconscious and become the new version of it. This then becomes scarier. And so you're ready to do the jump and change that. But as long as this is comfortable, then you're not ready. You haven't woken up. And a lot of times you need help to do this. The other day I was talking to a friend too, and she was telling me, I want to change my friends. Because the people I'm around with, although I've been around them for many, many years, I am realizing how they're not anymore aligned to what I want. They're not benefiting me, and they just offer me what used to be attractive to me, which is like, the party and doing all those cool things that I really like. But that's not, I'm noticing. Notice how she's noticing that's not me anymore. And so then the tension starts, because when you wake up, the tension starts. Now there's a lot of expressing your needs, showing and expressing your boundaries, and saying no to something that could be fun and good, to walk the path of uncertainty to something that's going to be greater and wonderful. That is the journey of the hero. But a lot of people refer to it as the journey of the hero. Why is it the journey of the hero? Because you have to say no to something you like, something to party. It looks cool. It's what you've wanted your whole life. It's good. It's great. But you have to say no to this to go to magnificent and wonderful and alignment and feeling of peace of mind. And so when you say no to that, it's when you then start forming the new. And again, it requires courage. And it requires you being in the middle and not knowing who you are anymore, feeling lost, darkness. It's like the incubator, what I call the incubator, right? It's that part of before you become that butterfly, where you have no idea. You're dying. Pretty much you're dying. You're dying. This one is dying. And so it's scary. But it could happen, and it's wonderful, and it's worth it, and it's evolution, right? It's the way we evolve. Now, what says that, for example, when you see somebody that has been maybe here for 70, 80 years and has never really looked at or done any work in their limiting beliefs or in their subconscious work, that is a mold that it's really hard to crack later on in life. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to crack. The older you get, the more stiff this mold gets. So right now, it's really flexible, right? Right now, it's like, it's still molding, but it's still really flexible. Then you're going to get, the more time passes, then, you know, the ideas that mold into here become a stiff rock. Because when you change this younger in life, notice how, you know, whatever was in there starts moving, because you're continuously and consistently changing the mold. This doesn't work for me. I need to, this limiting belief, it's old. This, you know, it's like a drainage. It's not, I change it, now I'm free. No, it's like you change and you change and you change. It's a work in progress. And this is the school of earth. It's not, I graduated, bye, I'm out. No, it gets better, but you have to keep changing it. So somebody that keeps changing and it's open to look at their limiting beliefs, kind of like doing this and being like, oh, now I want it like this. What if I try it like that? What if I do it like this? Look at this mold, inevitably, kind of like our body, right? When we give it movement, it's going to be flexible and adaptable. But one that is stiff and it's never going to change its shape, no matter what you do to it, it's because it has experienced most part of their life stiff. So it's like somebody that started exercising when they were 15, and now both people with the same age are 50, and the one that's 50 is going to start to exercise. It started to exercise 6 months ago. It's a whole different journey. Again, it's not impossible, and it's a really good thing that you started to exercise. I'm not saying it's not. But, however, notice that there is a relationship between the consistency that you bring into this work, the willingness that you have to ask for help, the awareness that you practice, because awareness is practice, right? We create space between stimuli and reaction so that we can choose consciously, remember, and not react. And so that space is what creates awareness. So awareness is practice. Practice is maybe meditating, maybe journaling, maybe working with a therapist, maybe working with a coach, maybe working with a friend, accountability, trying this out, implementing the skills. And even when you're doing all of that, for 4, 5 years, you have to have the patience to get to mastery. This is mastery, just like, you know, mastery. You know what mastery means, right? Mastery means I do it because I cannot conceive myself anymore not being that person that it's doing that skill, implementing that talent, or growing that skill within myself. It happens when you want to learn anything, when you want to be a master at anything, right? You know it's going to require the work, but it's not so much work in the sense of like hard work. It's not like fight and do it no matter what. It's the work of stretching your capability to be with uncomfortableness. That's the work. Because again, so many uncomfortable things here to jump from this one to this one. And it's how capable are we to stay aware in the uncomfortableness and keep going steady. It's not really about strength. It's about courage. It's about keeping your focus where it is, right? It's that emotional intelligence. It's the relational intelligence. Okay, anyways, I hope this subject, as all the subjects that I bring to you here, gives you a sense of reflection. This is something you want to reflect on. What is the limiting belief that it's ruling me about this situation that I feel with this person? About this situation that makes me feel sad, that makes me bring an emotion that I know it's telling me something, I don't know what it is. About my relationship with my parents or with my kids. What is this showing me? Can I be willing and open to see what that is? Once I see it, how long has this been with me? How familiarized I am with it? Who does it remind me to? of? Who does it remind me of? And who can help me to work this further, to look further? Maybe I have a blind spot. I cannot see any further. How can I work maybe with somebody if I need it? How can I really be present? Because it's not until you change your limiting beliefs, your subconscious programming, that you are really in sync, in alignment with your life. Otherwise, you're just thinking you're making decisions, getting what you want, or hopefully towards what you want, but in reality, you're always getting what you need. So part of this work is, how can I trust my wound to lead me, and how can I be working in co-creation with my wound and the awareness of what it is, and trust it that it's taking me to the place of healing, instead of being completely asleep and thinking that I want one thing because that's what's going to bring me reward and peace of mind only from the exterior. Okay, everyone, I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you next week, and I'm so glad you're here. Subscribe and follow me here on Instagram. See you later. Bye-bye.